into the lives of so many people in need, and especially even in crucial moments wherein those people were on the verge of making a decision to possibly abort. And thanks to the intervention of Mr. Dino and the pro-life ministry, that unborn life was saved. So many unborn lives in India through the intervention of the Jesus Youth Pro-Life Ministry, which is why this is a
Yeah,
life-saving
yeah.
ministry. And
Vegetables,
and
chicken, rice,
unfortunately, okay,
meat, pulses, so many things.
so okay, so someone okay. Just requesting everyone to remain on mute, just in case accidentally. So as I was saying, unfortunately, in Canada, according to recent statistics, 87,000 abortions in 2021. Out of that, 37,000 in Ontario. So in 2021, the recent statistics, and that is that is not just a few figures, but we are talking about lives. 37,000 um, babies, unborn lives, they were aborted, they were murdered like in cold blood. That's what happened in Ontario, and this is where we live too. Now, I'm in Ontario. Most of us, I believe, in the Zoom meeting, we are in Ontario, and I personally believe, and I would like to say that we are responsible to pray for and to actually actively be pro-life, and that's one of the reasons why we organized this talk, this session today, so that each one of us might hopefully not just listen, ask doubts for just to clear some personal doubts, but rather so that we can learn today, so that tomorrow when someone asks us some questions, we will have some answers, some authentic answers to share. And that is where the reality of what we just put in the chat comes into play. That is when we really are pro-life, when we stand for life, and when we really work towards saving those innocent unborn lives. And once again, just welcoming the two speakers of the day of the session, Mr. Dino and Dr. Mammen. Dr. Mammen is the assistant national coordinator for the Jesus Youth India Pro-Life Ministry. He has 7 kids, 5 kids at home, two in heaven. So we've got backup as well to pray for the ministry. And Dr. Mammen is currently working as a doctor in a government hospital in Kerala. And both of these are resources for today are in-demand resources for pre-marriage courses in Kerala, in India. And again, Mr. Dino has 4 beautiful blessings at home. And he's also a resource for pre-marriage courses in his respective diocese. So once again, welcoming you, Mr. Dino and Dr. Mammen to this session. And yeah, the stage is yours now.
Okay, so we are about to start, right? Then go.
Yes. Now, before that, I think that we have a poll. We have a quick poll, Dr. Mammen.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Dino, if you're working on that poll,
Yeah,
just to
is
get
it the first one? It's okay. Looks okay.
Yes, I think we are ready to launch.
Yep.
That poll. Okay. Yeah. So I think everybody would have received a poll right now. If you could answer that poll quickly. Yeah, everybody's answered. Mr. Dino, everybody has answered.
So we have yeah, 14 responses.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
So
14
we are
responses.
28.
Oh,
28,
no, I think yeah, sorry, we have
28
eight more,
participants.
yeah.
Poll
Maybe
is
if each
still
one of us can quickly answer the poll. But I think the general, the highest is yes, no. So the majority does say the church does not allow abortion even in exceptional circumstances. There are no exceptional circumstances where abortion would be allowed, is what the majority says. Some say maybe. Um, two from the group say yes. There are some exceptional circumstances.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Yes, maybe we can move to the next poll.
1 second.
Are we able to see the poll results or?
Mm,
You are able to see on the oh, only the participants are not able to see. Second, you can
No,
see
we
now,
can see.
right?
You can see it, yes.
You're able to see, right?
Yes, better.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move to the next poll. Shafi, is the next poll now?
No, Chetan, we can start the session.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Mammen.
Okay, thank you, Johnny, for your kind words. And my throat is big in trouble because this weekend I was continuously taking sessions, and I hope that is the last session of this week at too early morning. But it's okay though, for because of that the sound may be little muffled. So hope that is okay. Are you able to? Is the voice?
we can hear you. We can hear you, doctor. Yeah.
So I am not giving much introduction as the time is limited, and so we will go like this. I will give a rough idea about the pro-life and covering around the questions asked. Of the majority of the questions were asked and given to us, and consider the questions. I will take session accordingly. What is happening around the world, or what is the reality, or what the Catholic Church stand in pro-life in these areas. So we are not covering the entire pro-life now because the time is limited. And after that, we will be addressing questions. Maybe how much time I have, Jody, or Steffi?
45 minutes for the session.
Anyway, so after that, we will have question and session, right?
Yes.
Okay. So like that we will go. Thank you. So I will share a slide. My slides. So many of you will be knowing the meaning of pro-life, right? It is like for life. We are standing for life, but many people think that it considers all life. No, not all life forms. Actually, the church stands for pro-human life. So the other lives are secondary. We don't tell we are not telling like the chicken's life is not valuable, but it is not valuable as ours. So first, the most important thing is how we value human life. So these are the I'm just displaying the questions asked. The first question is about the personhood of or the personhood of a fetus or an unborn baby. Is the baby is a human person, or does the baby have life? All the questions were asked, and few other questions about abortion, the possibility of if church is allowing abortion, whether we can consider abortion in the case of rape, etc. So difficult conditions questions are came, and about the natural family planning, another question came, and about the gender problem, another question came. If time allows, all these things also we can touch. And about the vaccination also, people ask questions. I will just give the glimpse about what is the church stand is. And another, the last part is about the pro-life activism, how we can work in pro-life, or how what are the options left, and in Jesus Youth, what are the options, and also about the March for Life. So, my first question is regarding the question raised. When does the life begin? Can you put in chat box? But when does the life begins?
Can we all quickly use a chat?
At birth. Some days at the birth. We are putting chat. conception, conception. Yeah, my session is becoming quite easy. So yeah, great, thank you. So maybe some people says that when you get your driving license, right? So some people think that their life begins when they get the full freedom to go on. But in reality, it is at the moment of conception. Maybe I have displayed a priest saying that many think that it's a Catholic Church only says that the life begins at conception. It's not like that. Any medical book, if you look into, you can see the life begins at the moment of conception. So we cannot deny that. See, if people argue that it's the lump of cells or it is not life, we can ask the same question again. Are you not lump of cells? You are also lump of cells. We are considered of tissues, organs. We are lump of cells. So why you consider you as a person? Because you have life. And the same life was with you when you were conceived in your mother's womb. And another question, if you ask him, when does the life begin actually? When you can consider a fetus as a human, he will be stuck. Because if he says that maybe at the 28 weeks or just before the baby is born, so we can ask, what was the baby just one day before that? Without life? Not a human person? No. If you trace back to the moment of conception, then also the baby is a human person. Otherwise, it cannot be otherwise. Cannot be otherwise. That is the issue. So at any point, he has to agree that there is life. And the next question will come, what was it before, just 1 second before that? So it is only at the moment of conception, a human person life. So what we believe is, some people asked whether the baby has a soul. So just like us, we have a physical body and we have a mind and we have a soul. The baby is also having that. It is only the age matters, only the structure matters. Just like Johnny is maybe if you don't mind, how old are you, Johnny?
25.
25. So 25-year-old Johnny and 10-year-old Johnny are the same person. We cannot deny that. Only his name is same, his personhood is same. Only the age matters and his visible the appearance changed. And the 10-year-old Johnny is same as 1-year-old Johnny. The person is same. And 1 year again, when we go back, the just born Johnny and the Johnny inside the womb, just 1 day before his birthday, is the same person. We cannot deny that. If you trace back. So when we ask when the Johnny was Johnny, from the moment of conception, he was Johnny. Maybe unnamed, that's all. The person is same. So church calls us to respect this life from the moment of conception to its natural end. Because we have no right over the life given. All the rights for a person's life is reserved with Lord. He decides when a person should die or not. So he is the custodian of life. He is the custodian of our souls. So we have no rights over that. So that is the concept of pro-life. So when any person is challenged at any level, like from the birth, from his the conception to his natural end, we will intervene. Maybe that is the pro-life activity. Maybe it includes euthanasia also. If we say that a person is unworthy to live, we cannot say that. Even the most sinner is worthy to live in this earth. The most sinner is worthy to live in this. It does not make him unworthy to live, but maybe he's a sinner. Maybe God can decide. If God take his life, it's okay, but we have no rights. Euthanasia, we cannot agree. That's why, because the personhood is there. So if the person may not be able to move, he may be paralyzed. Some people think that he's suffering a lot. Let us help him by ending his life. No, we cannot do that. So because we have no rights to his life. Okay. And I just displayed a reference from Kittelmore, a textbook of human anatomy. And nowadays, people start believing that the human life starts at conception. The human life starts at maybe they claim that the life is not viable. So we cannot say that the child is a person like that. We will come to that such kind of arguments. soon. So before that, this was the last share thing. Okay. Why human life is valuable is because of these points. Man is created by God, and God gave man his glory, and God created man for himself, and God gave man the eternal salvation. See, just think how much valuable we are. If you go to a shop and it is displayed that a $5, maybe I would say $5 candy is displayed saying that the price is today's price is $50,000. Will you buy that? No, no one will buy it. And you won't get a 50,000 worth diamond necklace at the rate of $5. So everything has a price. So what is our price? We may not even imagine our price actually, because God knows that it is priceless, because He created. He created us. That is why He saved by giving His only Son, shedding His blood, giving His life. That much valuable we are. We cannot even imagine, because we are sinful, no? So we cannot even imagine our value. That is why church is standing for life. God has given us the value. Even if we are sinners, we are priceless, our life values. So we cannot touch the life. So every spiritual soul is created immediately by God. That at CCC 366 says. And the problem when it comes to the arguments against abortion, the real problem lies is we most of the time the arguing people doesn't have a base, because the beauty of this discussion is we have a base, we have a Catholic faith or maybe catechism of Catholic Church before us to consider as the base of all the arguments, and it is very logical, it is very consistent, and it's not changing. It's just giving explanation as time goes, depending on the situations or the questions raised. So, relativism and absolute truth. You may be familiar with these terms. We go with the absolute truth. Nowadays, people doesn't want to believe in absolute truth because they want to believe that what they believe is true. They want to claim that what they believe is true, not the actual truth. What is the problem with that? So, if you ask, is there a God? There are only two possibilities. There can be God or there cannot be God. There are only two possibilities, right? So it's always good that we believe in God, because if there is a God, only the persons who have believed in God will be profited when we die. Okay, so if we say that there is a God, which God? Another question comes: which God? Because there are Lord gods named gods. There are Hindus, there are Muslims, there are people. So even if there is a God, He is actually outside the realm of our reach, because he is formless, he is omnipotent, omnipresent. So he's everywhere, right? So I'm not going to the more of apologetics now. So, but if there is a God, there's only possibilities that we can get knowing the God only if He wills. If He reveals, only we can know. We cannot go and find Him. We cannot test Him with a tester. We cannot test Him with a medical lab. So only thing is, if He reveals, we will get know. So He was revealed. We believe that He was revealed through Jesus Christ, His only Son, and came here, lived with us, and gave enough evidence that God is there and God is love. So there is enough evidence to believe that there is a God and the God is love. It's our choice again. We can keep on arguing. So, and there are other religion, Muslims are there. They think that there is a revelation for them also. But so more logical, more historical, more evidential is Christian faith. So another question came: what kind of Christian you are? Again, another question. So I'm just trimming the concept of absolute truth. So again, another question came: what kind of Christian you are? There are many Christian denominations, but only we can categorize into two. Like either you will be Catholic or you will be a non-Catholic. So if you claim yourself that you are a Catholic, you are called to abide to the teachings of Catholic Church. So by default, if you are a Catholic, you are a pro-lifer. You doesn't need to take an extra step. Maybe you have to clear your stand, but if you are a Catholic, you are a pro-life. By default, you are. You cannot be otherwise because the church by nature is pro-life from the beginning. So even if you check the Didache, have you heard of Didache, the teachings of early teachings of church? If you check the Didache also, there is stand against abortion. You have no right to touch the fetus. That is clearly said in that. So I will just show you how world stands on the position on life changed. The Pope John Paul always says, used to say that there is a conspiracy happening against life in this world. There's a conspiracy happening against life in this world. If you keep on checking the stance of different organizations, different teaching, over a period of time, we can see the changes happening. I will show you just quickly. I will show you what happened. So we doctors take Hippocrates oath. You know, the father of modern medicine is the Hippocrates oath. In the Hippocrates oath, hope you are able to see, right? I will give no deadly medicine to anyone if asked, no such counsel, nor in like manner give a woman pessary to produce abortion. So even our father of medicine was against abortion. See, this was the real stand. Okay, now comes to Geneva Declaration. In Geneva Declaration, it was like, I will maintain the utmost respect for human life from the time of conception. You not that point, from the time of conception. This happened in 1948. Later, it's changed in 1994. They modified it like from the time of conception. They took that part of conception and they changed it from its beginning. So who will decide the beginning? Anyone can decide the beginning. Actually, the conception parts was taken off. And when again came in 2005, that was 1994, and in 2005, I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. No beginning, no conception. The concept changed. So you can decide who is a human, who is a male, who is a female. Also, now the time is up. Like you are deciding the gender. Now a time will come whether you will decide you are a human person or not. I will sort of, some believe that I'm not a human. Some believe that I'm handicapped. Some start believing that I'm a car. I'm something useless. So, see, people start believing what they want. So the concept is changing. So even goes to international code of medical ethics. In 1949, it was like the human life from the moment of conception. What happened later? In 1983, what happened is the doctor must always bear in mind the obligation to serve human life. That's all. From the time of conception, it was taken out. So there's a conspiracy happening. And again in 70, maybe history will be a little boring, but I just want to tell you what is happening around. So then a passive, they were in Declaration of Oslo, they were allowing if the vital interest of mother conflicts with those of the unborn child, you may go with abortion. That was the stand. So for your knowledge, there are two kinds of abortions. One is spontaneous, one is induced. That is, some phones are missing, I think, maybe because of a technical issue. It's okay. The heading is abortion. And one is spontaneous, one is induced. Spontaneous means it happens normally, maybe because the problem with the uterus, maybe with the problem with the baby, maybe any health issues, medical condition, it just spontaneously gone. And in spontaneous also isolated or recurrent. Maybe in our case, we had 2 abortions in between. That was spontaneous. It was the 4th conception and the 6th conception. We got the 5th baby, but we cannot say that it's recurrent. It was isolated. And in isolated also, there are threatened, inevitable, complete, incomplete, septic. Leave the technical issue. The only thing is the threatened means the baby is not dead. The baby is at the threat of abortion. Maybe like a plant is just uprooted, not fully rooted. Maybe with the rest and medication, we can restore the health condition of the baby. May the pregnancy may continue. Inevitable abortion, the baby is as detached from the uterine womb and just the only option is baby should go out. Maybe the baby is dead. Complete abortion means all the products, all the conception products is out of the womb. Incomplete means some part is remaining or the whole part is remaining. We have to remove manually, something like that. So it's incomplete abortion. Maybe we have to wait for all the pregnancy to come out. Septic abortion is getting infected or due to infection, the abortion happens. And in case of induced abortion, there are two types that you have to understand. All abortions, medically called abortions, are not actually killing the babies. So we have to understand the term medical termination of pregnancy. That's why people think that church allows abortion at some point. Medical termination of pregnancy is may not be killing the child. It is actually terminate the pregnancy. The physiological condition the mother is in, we are just terminating because the pregnancy is challenging the mother's life. So if we continue the pregnancy, it might affect the mother's life and the mother's life at first. At that point, we are medically terminating the pregnancy, maybe through cesarean or by inducing a delivery. We take the baby out, not killing the baby. We will let the baby live, and if possible, if the finance as well as the options at hospital gives ample circumstances to help the baby to survive, we will try that. If whether the baby will survive or not, it's not in our hands, but we will try. And our intention is not to kill the baby, but to save the mother. In the process of saving the mother, the baby may or may not die. It is not in our hands. Our intention is save both. That is the medical termination of pregnancy. But in general, MTP is also used for the type abortion. That means killing the baby is also in a way medically terminating the pregnancy. So we give medicines. Sometimes they take out the baby and throw. Sorry. Okay, so that is a kind of abortion. So we should not misunderstand the concept of abortion in the wrong way. Okay. So this is a statistics. See, this is a statistics taken from the Lancet. It's a non-medical magazine. Statistics not put from our side. 15.6 million abortions happened in 2015, 8 years back. Out of 48, so take it as 48 pregnancies, 15 got aborted. And out of 48, the 24 were unintended. Nearly half of the pregnancies were unintended. It doesn't mean that it all happened outside the wedlock. It also in the wedlock it happened, but it was unexpected. And 1/3 of children were washed out. That happened in 2015. Now, how horrible it will be now. Okay, these are the methods. They take pills and it give contraction to the uterus and the baby goes out. That's the one way of aborting. Another is if the baby is little big. Some of you may not be able to tolerate with the images. So I will just explain. If you're okay, you just watch the images. It contains the parts of the baby. So what they do is put a clamp, hold the baby, cut into pieces, and taken out. So directly kill. This is DNC, the Dalton curettage, and it depends on the size of the baby. The visibility of the parts will be depending on the size of the baby. And after taking the baby out, all the parts will be aligned in the shape of a human to make sure that all the parts are come out. So if any parts remains, the mother will get infected. So this is another method, sucking the baby out. You might have seen the movie Unplanned, and in that you are seeing the sucking the baby out and crushed into pieces, like blood it comes out. So this is another method, saline method, not much used nowadays. The baby is put in saline, like hypertonic saline is pushed into the uterus and the baby is killed. Actually, you can see the slide. This is the moment of conception. The conception is not happening in the uterus, the body of uterus. It happens in the tube because the ovum cannot move by itself. So the sperm has to reach there and it becomes life. And the baby is actually moving into the uterus by their own. Keeps like dividing and increase in size and moves to the uterus at the maybe after 7 or 8 days. So till 7 or 8 days, if they start believing that, if the medical people or the policy makers believe that the life starts at the beginning. So at the moment of implantation, they have an option to terminate the baby between these days, from the moment of conception until the moment of implantation. So they give in writing the life starts at the implantation. So after implantation, we are not touching. They say, and they give abortifacient emergency contraceptive pills. So what happens if you take emergency contraceptive pills? The conception has happened, the person has formed, the person is thrown out of the womb. Okay. So implantation is there, and uh, some people believe that it is like sperm and egg. It's just a cell. We cannot say that it's a human being. It's not actually one. I already covered that. And some people think that we can do abortion because it's not harming the baby. It's not giving any pain. No, it's not like the touch sensation starts at 8 weeks itself from the mouth, and for hands from 10 weeks, and organic pain starts at 8 weeks. 8 weeks or 2 months. Organic pain means if we start cutting the baby will definitely cause pain. And we are against abortion not because the baby is having pain or not, but we believe that the baby is a person. If they say that if there is no pain, we can do abortion, we can even kill a paralyzed person because he doesn't feel the pain. The pain matters. So the test sensation is like this. Okay, I will quickly go through the pro-choice argument. And this is the evidence. The physiology says baby spinal reflexes are sufficiently developed to feel the pain. And you may be knowing this person, Dr. Nadanson. He was actually pro-choice person. He's abortion provider. He has played vital roles in creating pro-choice feminist movement in 1972, I think. He was playing behind that. Then at the time of ultrasound, when the ultrasound started, he could understand that the baby moves away from the instrument trying for abortion. After seeing that, he confessed his sins and he became a Catholic pro-lifer. He was an active pro-lifer. So, and people says about the viability, the baby cannot survive if it comes out of the womb. At any point, if the baby comes out, the baby cannot survive. That doesn't make the baby unworthy to live. If you meet an accident, if you meet an accident and you become paralyzed, you cannot survive by yourself. And that doesn't make you unworthy to live. So we cannot take that claim because we all depend on someone or something to live forward, right? So that claim cannot degrade the person. So some people believe that abortion is a woman's right. That's the pro-choice movement. The women have the right to abortion. And that is how in history the feminist movement was split into pro-life and pro-choice feminist movement, saying that a woman has all the rights for abortion because it's her baby. We are going to examine if it is right or not. So the activists say that abortion is woman's right. So my question is, unborn's right or mother's right? What symbol you can put here? Unborn's right versus mother's right. Which symbol we can put here? I don't know whether the chat has option of these symbols. We cannot put this sign, we cannot put this sign. Only the possible thing is this sign. Because that is also a person. The person has his own right. Here we are here to the person who cannot cry for their right. That's the pro-life activity. Sorry. So the human being, once we agree that unborn is human being, that explains everything. So the right to live doesn't increase as the age increases. So it's from the beginning itself, the life has the right to live. And all the rights, the right to freedom, right to liberty, everything lies on the freedom of like the right to live. If you don't have the right to live, any other rights are not that practical, no? So all the rights are based on the right to live. So okay, unwanted pregnancy is a temporary condition, then it's not pregnancy, it's a born baby who can be given up. Because so we say that it's unwanted, but it's born by God. Maybe they didn't plan it, but it's the normal consequence of their choice they made, like that sexual activity. They cannot deny that. It's a normal consequence of sexual activity they chose. And so they cannot say that we didn't think of pregnancy like that. We will come to later. Another thing, if the woman says that it's my choice, if it is harming another's life, they cannot say that it's a choice. It's actually taking the baby's life. Okay, I'm quickly going. So some believe that abortion will make woman's life better. No. If they do abortion, there is a risk of post-abortion syndromes. Post-abortion syndrome. It can kill the mother. Lot of mothers' life are taken when abortion happens. Medical abortions will take away. Even the technology has advanced. Still, the mother's life is being taken through abortions. So, which fetus are more vulnerable for abortion? Well, not vulnerable, actually, more threatened for abortion, female or male?
Female.
Yeah, because there's a concept in many parts of the world, like the females are like if they are born in Jews, they consider woman as a second grade citizen, or some people think that the woman is a bird, and there are different concepts. But for us, both are equal. Both are God's creation, God's children. So in a way, when the woman asks for abortion, they are actually promoting an act which is against them, because abortion kills more females. It's actually anti-woman. Abortion is actually anti-woman. See, actually, the more woman is taken from the womb. So, these are statistics. I'm not reading all this. Maybe I can share the PowerPoint later because it's bulky. And I told about the post-abortion syndrome. That's the reality. Many people suffer from post-abortion syndrome. In another question, you have asked, when woman's physical or mental health is engaged into a pregnancy, what is the option? So, in India, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act gives an option to terminate the pregnancy if the mother's condition is threatened. I already give the idea, like if the mother's life is threatened, we will intervene not by killing the baby, by taking the baby out. But in a case like tubal pregnancy, the pregnancy in the tube, I already showed you the image of the tube. If the baby gets stuck in the tube, it is like the baby is not viable, because the baby cannot move forward. And if the baby starts growing in that tube, the tube will burst and the mother will bleed and die. So if you do something, we can save at least the mother. If you do not do anything, the mother will go, the baby will go. So it is like it is not choosing the lesser evil; it is a double effect. The moral question is the double effect. If you do something, the mother will be saved. If you do nothing, both will go. So in that case, we are actually saving the mother by taking the baby out. And question is, that is also a baby. You can try to save that. Yes, if there was any option to save that baby, you would have done that, but there is no option. Because if I plant a seed and put cement around it, whether the seed will grow? No. The tube is not the place where the baby can grow forward. So there's no possibility for the baby to survive, but there's a possibility of killing the mother. That's why we are against. And in some cases, the challenging mothers will definitely take the step of, like, whether to terminate the pregnancy or abort the baby is always the mother's choice. So in some conditions like cancers, some daring mothers have taken steps like, I'm not taking radiation treatment now. I will postpone it after the child's birth. That's their choice, definitely. Some lives were taken for that stand. That John Paul II says that it's heroic. Not everyone can do that. recently I got a pregnancy, like the mother's life may get threatened. It was like she was having the third cesarean, and after the second cesarean, she got conceived again. And the implantation of the baby was near the scar of the previous cesarean. So the complication is the baby's placenta will grow through the scar outside the uterus, and that can create complication. That's a medical thing. Don't bother about. But it may threaten the mother's life. From 3 hospitals, she was advised to do abortion. And the girl, the mother came to me and they contacted me and said, I want the baby at any cost. What are the options? Saying that you should understand the mother is actually a practicing gynecology nurse, and she knows all the complications if she continues the pregnancy. And she took the challenge of continuing the pregnancy, and the pregnancy was continued till 36 weeks. At that point, uh, there were what I was explaining, the placenta has grown out of the uterus and encroached to the urine bladder, causing damage to the urinary bladders. But still, the mother's life was not threatened. There is no complication, there is no bleeding, there is no rupture. So she was taken to the theater. The baby was taken out. They removed the uterus because it cannot be repaired. Some a mild repair was mild to moderate repair was done on the urinary bladder, and she got saved. Then the baby got saved. And as a token of love, they made me the godparents. And made us the godparents because see. So I'm delighted because through our intervention, babies are being saved. Maybe as Johnny was saying, once a mother came to me, not to me actually, in the next room, she came to see the nurse to know how to get an abortion. She's carrying her fifth baby. So hearing that or hearing from the other room, I asked her to come into my cabin. I prayed with, and I asked for prayer through messages, and I started talking to her. What is the problem? Their problem was health issues and finance. I started talking to them. What about this baby, this fourth baby? Can you imagine their life without him? No. So just like this baby, the baby inside your womb is also a baby. So if you have financial problem, I can help you. I can find people to help you. If you have health issues, I can make sure that you are getting good treatment. And they agreed to that. And the baby was born. And they took the baby to me and said, it is only because of you, doctor, the baby is born. And they're very happy that baby is born. But only see, many a times it's not because of they desensitize the baby. They really want the baby, but circumstances. Look, what is the role of Prolife? We have to address the real issue, not helping with the abortion. We have to address the real issue. If it is financial, we have to raise the finance for them. Many times we do that. If it is a technical issue, we have to find assistance to do that. So find all the possible, try all the possible ways to save the child. Okay. Now it comes to a really tough question, like what if it's a rape? Sometimes it's a challenging, you know. So maybe how much time left, Johnny? 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
But yeah, another 10 minutes.
Okay. So I will finish on the rape question first. Okay. And gender issues I didn't cover. Okay, I will address the question. So when a pro-choice person raised the argument of rape case, he's actually not doing because he really loves the rape victim, because he want to put us in trap. So that's it. If you ask him, can you marry that girl? She's very powerful. He won't agree because it's not because of the love he is asking. He just want to trap us. And so here, what is the real problem? The mother is affected. There's a trauma, there's a mishap in her life, there's an evil, there's a sin happened in her life. So what is the role of the baby? Is the baby the reason? Is the baby the sinner? No, the baby is not the problem. Actually, why they are aborting the child? Two reasons. One thing is the mother may be mentally traumatized if she carry that baby inside her womb throughout the pregnancy, because it will remind her about the rape. One thing. Another thing, if the baby is coming out, the baby will have to live fatherless or as an orphan in society, maybe not all societies, in advanced society, they don't mind even, but at least in our societies, they will think that the baby is an orphan, he's fatherless, he's a fruit of a rape, like that. The social stigma will be there. That's our point. And about the mothers, in future, she will lose her life because she cannot marry a person, she cannot have a life with the baby with her. All these concepts will come in. So, what is the reality? If you think of what is good for this mother, that is the option you have to give. Maybe instantly, as an instant solution, we may feel that removing the baby is the best solution. So the problem is over. That's what we think. And those who run behind a rape victim to get an abortion happen, after the abortion, all these persons leave. No one will follow up. The mother has to suffer. What really happens? So I will show you a flow chart from where you can understand what really happens in a mother's life if we let her do abortion. My God. It's like okay. Okay. Some phone issues. So when I am displaying sharing the screen, some phones are not happening. So okay, now it's get color. I change the color. Okay. Sorry for the delay.
So once while you're okay, sharing.
Got it? So, so the what are the options left to the rape victim? Either to deliver or to abort the baby. Am I right? These are two options left. So once she deliver the baby, she has two options left. Either accept the baby, leave the baby, or give for adoption and leave alone. And even after doing that, she can get married or remain unmarried, or even after giving the baby for adoption, she can get married. And even after giving for adoption, she can remain unmarried. These are the options if she decide to deliver the baby. What are the options left with her if she abort the baby? And even she can hide and leave. Even after delivering the baby, she can hide the event and leave. Even after abortion, she can get married, hiding the event because that's the intention of the abortion. She want to hide the event from her life, and she can be exposed about the event and get married, and even she can be unmarried and get exposed. These are the options left with her. And also keep hiding it. You can live a life hiding it. So how many of you think that it would be easy for a girl to live hiding this event, especially in a married life? How much she will be comfortable? How much easy she will be living with the person with a fear that once somehow if the person get know about the event happened, how much unstable the marriage will be. So you got the idea. So hiding this doesn't make sense because a stable marriage is only when a person come to her life, understanding all these things. If he get married, if he marries her, the marriage life will be stable. Otherwise, what are the issues? The marriage will be unstable. Not only instability of the marriage, a sin of murder has committed and post-abortion syndrome is there. So she is at the risk of post-abortion syndrome. So even if she doesn't hide it, she has done a murder. She is at the risk of post-abortion syndrome. Even if she hide it, the thing matters. So now, considering the future, what is good for the mother is keeping the baby. So that is the best option left for her. The other options will keep her life in risk, not that I mean the entire life in risk. Like she will be have to be in fear. She is the threat of the post-abortion syndrome. She has to face the consequence of the sin she has committed. All these things are there. So considering everything, what is good for her, the ultimate good for her is to let the baby live. And we have to definitely address her problem. It is not easy to for a raped victim to live a life without remembering the event. So aborting a baby doesn't unrape her. The rape has happened. Aborting a baby doesn't unrape her. And the problem is the culprit will escape. The culprit has no responsibility if the baby is not there. If the court says the culprit has to take care of the baby for the entire life, the number of rape will be decreased. Now what happens? All the rapists think that whatever we do, nothing happens. The girl will go and get the abortion done and we will be free. So will that help for a culture to come up with less rape or more rape? So actually, in a way, saying all these things, we are actually promoting a culture against life. Okay, maybe more.
Just 2 points to add on. I'll just add 2 points on that. Yeah. So on that rape, just 2 more arguments we can give. As Mammen said first, it's a trap which people set first, just when we speak about rape. The first thing you should counter them is ask them, the percentage of abortion and rape is just like less than 1% of the overall abortions which are happening. So do you agree that abortion is wrong in the remaining 99%? That's the first counter question we should ask. And so normally they say they don't agree to that also. Then we should say, then why are we hiding under rape? Let's discuss other things first, then we'll come back to rape. Okay. Now, as Mammen said, abortion doesn't unrape the woman. It also doesn't make the woman unpregnant. She's already pregnant. The question is whether is she the mother of an aborted child or a delivered child. Now, there are 2 more good arguments which we can put across. For example, if I ask Johnny, Johnny is his father is a nice man. So I'm just asking Johnny that for hypothetical reasons, let's consider that Johnny's father is a bad person. I'm telling Johnny, because his father is bad, I have decided to kill you. So is it a fair judgment? And Johnny will say, definitely no. I cannot kill him because his father did something wrong. So how different are we doing in a rape? It's the same thing. Because the father did something wrong, we are killing the baby, innocent child. Another thing we all study about human rights, right? If I give you 2 human rights, okay, right to liberty and right to property, what is more important for you? People will say it's right to liberty, because if there is no liberty, there is no question of property. Now, if I give another 2 human rights, right to liberty and right to life, what is more important? Obviously, everybody will say right to life, because if there is no right to life, there is no question of liberty, right? So we agree that the basic human right is right to life. If we agree to that, if there is a conflict of interest between a mother's right to liberty to abort versus a baby's right to life, what is more important? Of course, the baby's right to life is more important than the mother's right to liberty to abort. So these are the ways in which we counter the rape question usually. Thank you. Continue.
Okay, so maybe most of the abortion questions were addressed. Now we'll before going to the question and session, I will just address about the sexual morality. So so our concept of sex is maybe different, maybe like not like the secular thought. What we believe is, or what we know from the scriptures as well as the tradition is, a sexual union is actually reflecting the triune God, the Trinitarian God. When Adam was created, God says that it's not good to Adam to be alone. Why? Because it is not for that he is created. He is created to love. 2 commandments were given by Jesus. Love the God. Next is love your neighbor. So that is our role. Receive the love from the God and give to the person we love. So in marriage also, what happens is, it is not between 2 persons. Catholic marriage is not between 2 persons. Myself and Ninu, if we are married, we can do anything with our bodies. We can do anything with our bodies. It is, the marriage is not between me and my wife. It is actually between me, the God, and my wife. So it's like triune God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Where the marriage is between 3 persons. Many a time, the factor of God is taken away and we decide how to go with the marriage. That is the problem lies. Actually, when we are exercising the marital duty, we are actually doing a sacrament in the bed. We forget that. We are actually doing a sacrament. We are celebrating a sacrament. So when we say about the contraception, sterilization, abortion, the main part is we are actually distorting the sacramental nature of the sexual union. We cannot dilute that. So the sacramental nature of sexual union, we cannot compromise that. See, sexual union is very inevitable for a marriage to to prosper and grow in love. And it has a beautiful part, the fruitfulness. So God's love is fruitful. Just like that, the marital love should be fruitful. If you take away the fruitful part, we cannot say that it's God's love. We are reflecting God's love. We cannot say that. So when we take away the fruitfulness part, like we are in condom, we are taking OCP, what we are actually doing? We are doing a sin against God's love. That is why Catholic Church is opposed. It's not because the condom cause allergic reaction. It is not because of the OCP cause stroke and myocardial infarction. It's not because of the side effects. We are saying that you should not use contraception because the sacramental nature is lost, and that will affect your marriage. The relationship between the husband and wife will be affected if you introduce contraceptive into the, because that is not the real sacrament. See, what if the church, if a priest says that today the mass is over, all go in peace without receiving the Eucharist. I'm not giving you going you the Holy Ghost today. Will the mass will be complete? Can it be called as a sacrament? No. So that what if the Holy Eucharist is thrown away or burned away after the mass? So that is against sacrament. We cannot exercise or practice a sacrament the way we like, but the sacrament should be exercised or practiced in the way God likes. So when we do a contraceptive sterilization, actually the sacramental nature of the sexual union is compromised. So we cannot agree with that. That is why church stands against contraceptive sterilization. That needs to explain the sacramental nature of sexual union. That needs a much pretty big time we need. That just keep in mind that when a couple, a husband and wife, is doing sex in their bedroom, they are actually offering a sacrifice or a sacrament before the God. And that should preserve all the fundamental nature of God's love, including unconditional, should be conditional, it should be free, it should be total, it should be faithful, and it should be fruitful also. Free, total, faithful, and fruitful. These four nature should be there in a marital love. And considering, and we know about the pornography, masturbation, all these things are immoral. And when we are masturbating, we are actually using our sexual capacity for a selfish purpose. What if the priest take the chalice for taking a cup of tea? Will that be like, you got it? The priest always take the chalice to take the tea in the same chalice he is offering the mass. So that's actually irreverence to the sacrament. So just like that, our body parts are given to offer the sacrament, and if we are using the body parts for our selfish love, that is irreverence to the sacramental nature of our body. And we are called to share our love to the person. We are given the sexual capacity to share, not to do selfish. So the problem with the masturbation, recently also a person called me and said, when you take classes in pre-marriage courses, you should tell them that do not masturbate because it is actually destroying my marriage. I am not able to go and love my wife because I am addicted to masturbation. So it's actually damaging the. So if you keep on practicing writing with the right hand, and all of a sudden, if you ask to write with the left hand, it will be difficult for you. You are practicing self-love. And when all of a sudden you are asked to share the love, you will find difficult. So it will tamper your marriage. So when church is saying no, it is not because church doesn't love you or church doesn't want you to get the pleasure of some act. It is because the church love you and he intend the all good of you. She intend the all good of you, the total good, not an instant good. You may feel the church is not allowing me to get the pleasure from masturbation. The pornography is good. It's giving me testosterone. So why the church is against it? Because church look at you as a child of God, and you should be in eternity. The church doesn't want you to lose your soul. Okay, maybe these are the few concepts. Maybe I might have covered most of the questions. You are left, I know. Maybe the questions which we doesn't cover. Johnny, over to you. I think is there anything else left? we can do it in the question answer session.
I think we'll have one poll, Johnny, now.
Yeah, so I think we can just have a quick poll again now for everyone to answer before we move into an open session for questions. Okay, the poll is active now. If you are neither pro-life nor pro-choice, is it still a sin? That's the poll. If we can all quickly answer that poll. We don't have a particular choice between pro-life or pro-choice. Is it still a sin?
I think I will close the poll.
Sure. Yeah, I think the majority
Sure.
says yes. Yeah.
Share the results. And I think now people can see.
The majority says yes. So, Mr. Dino, what is the answer to this? Is it like what do we need to have like this firm stance, or is it okay if we don't really have a stance? How would you approach this?
Okay. So, Mammen, you want to answer that?
Yeah, definitely the sin of omission. The sin of omission is there. If you are not pro-life, there is a sin of omission. And being a pro-choice, definitely it's a sin. So the question is a little tricky. We cannot say that if a mother comes to me and asks me for abortion, so if I say, Mom, I have nothing to say, it's actually act of omission. I'm responsible for the child's life. So if you take Ezekiel, chapter Ezekiel for I think 32, I think. 1 second. Yeah,
So,
Ezekiel 33. There's a saying that if when the guard of a town, seeing that a sword is coming to the town to destroy it, if the guard doesn't give a hint to the people there, he is responsible for the loss. He is responsible for the life of the town, the city. And even if after he says, the people, the inhabitants doesn't hear him and face the consequences, he is not responsible. It's always our duty to tell them whether they agree or not. It doesn't remain to us. Even after saying, even when we spread the gospel, not everyone will listen, no. But it's our duty to keep on saying. That's all. It's our duty to tell. We should take a stand.
So I will also like to say that it is highly impossible to live a sinless life not being pro-life. Okay, it's because we every day or
It
we
touches
will
all
have
the realm of our life. It touches
yes,
all the realm of our life.
we will have opportunities, every walks of our life, be it the family, office, public, where we have 101 opportunities. If you actually start thinking and looking into it, it's there everywhere. It's there everywhere. It's highly impossible to stay neutral, without the sin of omission and lead a peaceful life. I think it's impossible.
So another pulse, right? Pole is right.
Sure. Oh, Steffi, no, not now. Yeah.
No, yeah. Before we, I think right now the floor is open. Thank you again, Dr. Mammen, for that informational session, for covering all those topics. I think the one key point that stood out to me was definitely the sexual act, that in itself is a sacrament and that needs to be given its due reverence. And that was a beautiful point. And before we open the floor to your questions, each one of you, 26 of us on this Zoom session, before we move on to questions, just a quick announcement about our March for Life happening on the 11th of May. Yes, it is not a weekend. It is a weekday. It happens on a Thursday. So probably we'll have to take a leave on that day or take a day off definitely to participate in this march. It will be happening in Ottawa. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be coming for this annual march, wherein all of us will gather in Ottawa, and I think there is a march that happens towards the Parliament. It's a very peaceful march, and Jesus Youth Ontario is going to be there. We have actually booked a whole bus. It's a very spacious bus, and we have so many seats still remaining for each one of you if you've still not signed up for a seat on that bus. So the message will be the link with the details will be shared right now in the group. And coming in the bus, it is highly suggested that you come with our signature branded Jesus Youth Pro Life t-shirts that are now available as well. Again, very high quality t-shirts. It's not just use and throw kind of stuff. It is high quality. And if we can all it's just $20. The orders can be placed right now. Not many days left for the orders to close, for the stocks to last. So please, that is another thing that that you can place an order as soon as is possible for you. The link will be shared on the common WhatsApp groups, and together with this showing our pro-life support with this T-shirt and coming for the march, if that is possible for you, we hope. Well, this is something that can really inspire, and it's also a way wherein so many pro-life uh, definitely, I can only assume Catholic organizations, pro-life organizations, such as Toronto Right to Life, and so many other organizations are going to be there. The church is going to be there, and each one of us being there, is actually just adding on to the collective voice of the Catholic Church in just saying again the very same things which happened. Each one of us put in the chat in the beginning. I am pro-life. We are pro-life. We stand for life. So hopefully, each one of us will take this chance to register as soon as possible. And yes, now the floor is open to questions. You can please use the chat box, each one of us in the group, whatever questions that you might have. And Dr. Mammen and Mr. Dino will be more than happy to answer those questions.
So I just see Pascal posting that every Catholic is pro-life. Thanks, Pascal, for saying that. Yes, absolutely. Every Catholic is pro-life, and we even say every human being is expected to be pro-life. Because we speak about human life, which is applicable for all human beings. So Mammen, did we cover all the questions or anything to go from the
Yes, I had a few are left. So,
Well,
is it considered the baby I already done? And about the soul of unbaptized and miscarried abortion baby goes. That's actually a tricky question. So we believe that the salvation is possible with the baptism. Some say so. And if the baby is taken to heaven without exercising his free will, God is actually not respecting the free will of the baby. Some claim that. So all what we can say is there is no possibility like the God will be intending the baby to be in hell. God really wants the baby to be in heaven, and He will find the ways. Maybe logically we cannot derive it a reason because there are some some may claim that, as I said, the free will is not exercised or the baby is not baptized. So we don't know actually. There are no evidence in this. But only thing we can believe is God's mercy is in abundance, God's love is in abundance, and the God's intention is to take the baby to heaven, and that can happen through His ways. Okay. And what if woman is physically, mentally traumatized that I covered? Is there a situation abortion is allowed in just that also I clearly covered? And and another is about the handicapped children. If the baby is having any deformity inside the womb, is it good that the baby will be the life of the baby is taken? Otherwise, the baby has to suffer when it comes out. That's a very relevant question. But the problem is that can happen to any one of us at any point of life. After an accident, if you lose your limb, both of your limbs are cut off. So does that make you unworthy to live? No. So if you go and ask the baby will definitely will say, I want to live. So the suffering doesn't degrade or make us unworthy to live a life. If you go to a person, a lay person or blind person, and ask him, dear Cheda, can I help you by killing you because you are suffering a lot? He will smash you. So definitely, the person's choice won't be not to. Maybe even the most suffering person will make cry like, "Kill me! I don't want to live this life." Maybe killing. He is actually not asking us to kill him. He's actually telling us, "I am suffering to that extent. Please help me to go out of this." So there are other options to help him. If the problem is pain, we can give painkiller, we can give morphine, even palliative sedation is there, just like giving anesthesia. We can sedate the patient. So why are we are always bothered about killing the person? That is so we always think that killing is the only solution. Chad, anything to add?
Yeah, just we normally get this question, if we'll say, don't do abortion, give to adoption, and so then they will say, oh, you give to orphanage, in orphanage people are abused, harassed, they don't have food, they suffer a lot. Why do country make this baby into suffering? Is it not better to abort? Then we ask this question, as Mammen said. Let's consider hypothetically the baby can respond to a question in the womb. So let's say baby is 5 months in the womb. The question of abortion has come. So we will tell the baby. So you have two options, my dear child. Option one, we can deliver you in full term. You will go to an orphanage. You may suffer. You may be harassed. Okay, all these things can happen. There's a possibility that you may have a good life also. Option two, nothing to worry. You don't have to go through any of the suffering. We can kill you today only. Which option would you prefer? So will any baby say, "Oh, kill me today only"? Nobody will say, right? So by killing the child, we are neglecting the 101 opportunities which can possibly help the child also. Even if the baby has to suffer, that is better than killing the child today itself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Another question is there any type of food or exercise led to abortion? Is it will be a sin? Some not much evidence, but some say the raw papaya. Raw papaya might induce like the papaya can induce movements of uterus and cause abortion. There are some food items and some drugs also can induce abortion. So the intention matters. Even heavy exercise can induce labor and can cause abortion. So the pregnancy should be careful, definitely. But the mother has an intention to kill the baby by doing an exercise, then only it is a sin. Otherwise, without knowing that, if she is saying normal exercise, taking normal foods, if that causes abortion, that is her, not her intention. So we cannot say that it is sin. But definitely, some things can cause abortion. Another question is medical choice between mother and fetus. I already told. Does NFP actually work? That's the question. So it depends on how you practice it. You have to put much effort. Sometimes a single method might help you. Sometimes 2 or 3 methods have to be combined. Anyway, the study has showed that if you practice this correctly, you can attain up to 98 to 99% achievement through natural family planning. Okay, so we are not discussing much about the natural family planning. And 2 more questions.
One before that, though ma'am already answered in the class, whether the eye pill can cause, morning pill can cause abortion. The answer is yes, if it is taken after a sexual intercourse, and if the conception, the problem is nobody knows when the conception has happened. Consider that a husband and a wife had a sexual intercourse, and the wife has taken the pill after the intercourse or the next day. If the conception has already happened, it can cause abortion. Okay, and if the woman is taking before the intercourse is done, then it will be a contraception, but not an abortion. But either ways, it's a mortal sin. But what we're trying to say is nobody knows when the conception is happening, so it can cause an abortion, is what we would like to say. But both are equal mortal sins, whether it be an abortion or a contraception. Yes, ma'am, you can answer the last 2 questions.
Didn't get
In the WhatsApp, I put no last 2 questions.
okay. So, yeah, I will address that. The NFP is said, and can we follow gender revealing in Western countries? See, the problem with the gender issues, they have changed again the reference they have changed. So, how we can prove that Johnny is a male or Steffi is a female? There should be a reference, no? If I say that this is a 1 kilogram mobile, I have to wait in the weight, no? There should be a reference. And the reference used for weighing this should be static, should not keep on changing. Otherwise, we cannot measure it. So, what is the reference of gender or sex? Definitely, it's unchanging thing is chromosomes. So, the Y chromosome in Johnny's body decides whether he's a male or is a female. That's definitely he's a male. The Y chromosome decides the gender. That's not my saying, is the WHO says the Y chromosome, the sex determining region of Y decides the gender of a person. So if the person starts saying that I'm not male, I'm not female, then the problem is there is no reference. And if you keep agreeing with everything they say, what happens is once they start saying that the sexual anarchy will happen. See, some people say that I'm born like this, so I should be allowed to do this. So if a thief comes and says to police, I am born as a thief, so please allow me to do theft. We cannot agree with that. So, and three things confused is one is transgenderism, second is homosexuality, and third is hermaphrodites. These three we should understand. Quickly, I will say transgenderism is nothing but I am a male. I am technically a male. By chromosome I am male, but I doesn't want to be male. I want to be a female, and I would like to live as a female identity. I want to do surgeries like cutting my penis off and live as a female. That is transgenderism. And I'm a male. I don't feel anything when I see a female, but just I get sexual stimulation or sexual attraction when I see a male. That is homosexualism. And what is hermaphrodites? Hermaphrodites is the problem with the chromosomes, sexual chromosome, XY chromosome. There's aberrations there. And when the child is born, we cannot identify the child as a male or female by looking at the external appearance or external genitalia. That's hermaphrodites. There need not be transgender. They may not be transgender. Not transgender. So what is the option left for them according to church? The church look at this person with mercy and love. They are all the children of God. We cannot deny them. But we cannot agree with any sin they do. Just like we cannot agree with a person, a married person doing adultery. We cannot agree with him. Just like that, I cannot agree. The church cannot agree with a teenager who masturbate or cannot do with a person who go for fornication. We cannot agree with that. Just like that, any transgender or homosexual or hermaphrodite, we cannot agree with them doing sin. That's all. We love them. We cannot agree with the sin. God love the sinners, but hate the sin. That's all. And what is the option left for them? They have to take the treatment. But in many countries now the treatment is not there. Even WHO says that transgenderism, homosexuality is not a disease. So if that is not a disease by definition, how you can give offer treatment? That is the issue. So actually, only less than 7% of cases we cannot trace the real cause of why they become transgender or homosexual. We can trace out emotional or psychological events in their life, like sexual abuse or lack of father's love, mother's love, or which contribute to their homosexual inclination or transgender inclination. So if they agree, we can treat them. For the hermaphrodites, we can opt for surgeries or you can opt for hormone treatment that helps them to restore to their real gender. So I had a friend, the person was in my class as a female. Later, all of a sudden, we came to know that she became a he. Why? It was an adopted child, and they didn't know the gender. They looked like the external gender looked like a female. It was confusing. So they brought her up as a female, and later as grown up, they understood that chromosomally it's a male. Though they did surgery, took the treatment, and now registered to a female, married and having kids. So that's technically sometimes to an extent is possible. So that is the option left for. So I want to sin, allow me to sin. Church is not allowing me to sin. That is not a crime. We cannot agree with that crime. Okay, so all Catholics are not Catholic by faith but by birth, so they may be unaware of what the Catholic teachings are. So if they are pro-choice or not pro-life or pro, we can still say they are sinning because their choice is one thing. It's known. See the uh, question in the chat box is like, so we doesn't know the Catholic teachings. So as a, I'm not a pro-lifer because I didn't know about the pro-life. Now the option is not there, right? You know about it. So once it is known, we have to act. We cannot do anything which we doesn't know. It's okay. God doesn't consider that to an extent, but still we have a responsibility as a Catholic to know the Catholic teaching. See, when you get married, what we say, I received this person as my wife according to the law of Christ and the teachings of the Catholic Church and the law of the Catholic Church. We are actually putting a terms and conditions there. And then it is our responsibility to know what it is. Am I right? So when I am getting married, I have to abide to the rule of church and the law of Christ. And I am saying that I doesn't know it. Okay, it's okay, but you have the chance to get know it. So you have to take that opportunity to learn it. Okay.
One more thing I'll add. I'll add one more thing. So, in material of whether they know or do not know, whether they will consider sin or not a sin, they will face the consequence of their actions.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is there. So let's consider that I didn't know contraception is a sin. Okay, and I use contraception. Okay, the culpability of the sin may vary from full knowledge to less knowledge and all, but the consequence of the sin which can impact my married life will still be there. So no matter whether we know something is wrong or right, or whether it's sin or not, the effect of the sin which will have a natural consequence in our life, which we cannot deny. That can happen.
So whether you believe in gravity doesn't matter when you stand beneath the coconut tree. Whether you believe it or not, the coconut will fall on your head. Okay, the consequences there. And last question, which I didn't address, is about the vaccination. So whether see there may be many personal stands for this, but I am just here to tell about the church stand. Church always advise to take vaccine if available, the vaccines which is not derived out of abortificants. So that was the product. So the history traced to the cell line which used for making or testing the vaccines were derived from the a purposely induced abortion that happened in 70s. So some claim that there is a remote participation in the sin. So looking at the good of everyone, the church says that if the only option left for you is to take an vaccine derived from such test, you may take it. You may or may not take it. It's okay. But if there is an option left for you, that there is another vaccine which is not taken from such test, you should opt that. And me and Dino took a Covaxin, which is not derived from abortifacient. When there is COVID-19, what is the other vaccine? Covishield. Sputnik. So no, AstraZeneca was available. We waited for that vaccine to come, and we took it. And there is another conspiracy theory. I put it in inverted commas because that is what we know. We say it's conspiracy theory that the vaccine is like behind. There's a conspiracy behind that. Some people believe that it's okay, but we should not propagate it as Catholic teaching. That's all. What church says is it is okay to take vaccine, but if you are disturbed with the thought of participating in remote sin, you can opt for a vaccine which is not derived from abortifacient. But you should be you have the responsibility about others' health also. If you are symptomatic, you should stay at home. And you should take all other precautions to make sure you are not getting the disease and you are not transferring the disease. That is their responsibility is there. And if the vaccine is the only choice, you have to take it. Okay, that's all. That's church stand. Church has officially released it and published it, and other stands are personal. Don't propagate it as church, and that's all. I'm not against any person who is not taking vaccine. It's his personal choice, but still the responsibility for him to be a healthy person and to stop spreading of COVID-19 is with him. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Mammen. So those questions were the questions raised through the form that the link, the Google Doc that was shared before today's session. So most of the questions, we are hoping that those who asked those respective questions are here for today's session, and your questions were answered. Now, again, if you have any doubts, any other questions, still, this is your chance. And just quickly putting the link here in the chat box, ontario.jesusyouth.ca/March for Life. This is your go-to link for all information and to place your orders for the Jesus Youth Pro-Life t-shirts, and also to book your tickets for the bus ride where we all will travel together for the March for Life on May 11th. So this is the link. Just have to click it even on your mobile devices or even on your laptops, and you can see a whole lot of information about all the pro-life activities. And yeah, maybe just a few more minutes if anyone has any questions. So one question, Dr. Mam, came again. If anybody would want to confidentially, without revealing your name, ask a question, please personally, you just have to direct message the question to me on Zoom, and we'll make a note to not say your name. So that is completely okay if you would like to personally ask a question. So one question is, with respect to Canada, there are now laws that are being made with regards to MAID, or I believe that's medically assisted dying. So how, as Catholics, especially within Canada, or as Catholics, how do we respond to that? How do you respond to medically assisted dying? That was one of the questions.
I think, Mammen, there are two questions. How can I be pro-life without risking my... Yeah, so as I think connected to what Johnny has just said. And,
Yes.
Healthcare worker. And also, what do you recommend as to opinion or voice to the government officials? So you want to answer or you want me to answer?
Please answer.
Okay. So, yeah, the first one is how can I raise my concern? How can I be pro-life without risking my job as a healthcare worker? It's a very difficult and a tricky question, I should say. I should confess it's not an easy one to answer. Okay, if I would like to take a leaf out of Dr. Findo's life. Findo, as you know, is a very hardcore pro-life gynecologist. And normally, in gynecologists, when they are studying, they have to do abortion, sterilization, contraception, everything. And Findo was a very strong pro-lifer, and he also came to a situation where he had to do it. Okay, so he was so confused what to do, and he kept thinking and praying, and he thought, if I don't do now, I will not get my degree, and if I do now, I can get my degree, then I can save many lives. That was his point of view. And he went and prayed. He went and prayed in front of the Blessed Sacrament with this thought. Then he heard a voice in his ears where the Lord told him, I would like to see you without a spot and a blemish. Okay. So it's very clear to him. So he decided, whether I get OBGYN or not, I don't matter. It doesn't matter, but I will not do it. So he went with that decision. He had to struggle a lot. He has hid inside the washroom many times. He has run out of the operation theaters many times. He has to get the scoldings from his superiors many times. But in the end, all through the suffering, he came victorious. And now he's a very hardcore. And if you look at Dr. Findo, he's an expert in infertility. It is nothing, I wouldn't say anything special, I believe he's doing. It is because of the Lord's anointing on him for standing for life. And whenever he treats, people get, many of the very huge number of cases, infertility cases, getting pregnant. So to answer the question here, well, if you are working as a healthcare worker, practicing or assisting abortion, contraception, sterilization, my personal suggestion is stop it. Okay, we cannot, being a Catholic, we cannot assist actively in abortion, contraception, sterilization, or even I should say active euthanasia. Active euthanasia, okay, which is against life. You may ask me, what will I do with my job? Yes, these are all valid questions. I am not denying that. And that's where we have to take it with a pinch of faith, not pinch of faith, a lot of faith and a pinch of salt. And to take it with a lot of faith. And I have seen there's a lady a nurse in UK today. She was working in Narayana Hrudayalaya in Bangalore. She used to get the abortion case numbers and give it to us, and we used to call them and try to counsel them. Her head superior found it one day, and Narayana Hrudayalaya is a non-Catholic or non-Christian institution. And she scolded this nurse, telling, "How dare you do that? How dare you give the information of patients to others?" Okay, and I understood she was in trouble, and then after a few days, she gave another number. I said, "I am not revealing her name. How can you do this? Are you not scared?" And she said, "It's fine, Cheta, if I lose my job also to save a life." I was like, wow, that needs some faith. Okay, and she got abroad in Ireland, and she is settled in Ireland today. Okay, that's how the Lord blessed her. So I'm not telling you should take somebody's number and give. No, that is something beyond. Okay, what I am saying is, if you're actively assisting, stop it. It's not a strong word. Out of love, I'm telling you, it will not help you. Okay, and that's what doctors. Yes.
The problem is that we forget the God who gave the job.
Yes.
He is mighty enough to give another job.
Yes.
So I had this fear. I had this fear, but it didn't take anyone's life. But still, sometimes I feel I had a fear to counsel against contraception. I had a fear against sterilization. Now I clearly said in an open platform, I said, even if I lose my job, I don't mind, because I cannot take a stand against life. So that is why after having the conference part, we says, I am ready to die for and avoid sinful situations. No, but we forget that we should trust that God will bless us. If you go to Exodus, we can see two midwives, Sapphira and Pua, who helped the babies to come out when the Pharaoh said to kill all the kill the boys. They saved them. They could also have thought that we may lose our job. What happened? God blessed them, God guarded them. And suffering on spreading the gospel is there. It is a package. We cannot remove that. Even Jesus has said, these people have done this to me, and how much hard it will be for you when you start spreading the gospel. So it is there. Not only with the Prolife, if you start talking about the Christ, you will have suffering from outside.
Yeah. So the second part of this question will be like not direct cooperation. For example, an abortion is happening in my hospital. I heard about it. I'm not in that department. No, I'm in some other department. What do I do now? It's probably a more difficult question to answer. It has a lot to do with the company, the legal rules of the country. In India, we would, though it is not easy for me, if I hear no, I cannot keep quiet. Many times I wished, oh God, please, I don't want to go. But somehow out of the responsibility, I go and we speak. Okay, and only the first step is difficult. The first step to decide to go is difficult. After we say the Lord taking 10 steps to help us. So this has to be done with the rules and regulations in a country. If it's and in some countries they don't allow you to go and speak like that, so probably you should not do that. Okay, that's what I think for now. I'm not telling I'm perfectly right in what I said. Okay, but if you are in a capacity to lovingly raise a voice, okay, you should do that for sure. In your capacity, if you can, without offending another person, out of love, okay, you can raise a voice. Offense again is not intentional. If you may say it with love and somebody can be offended, that's okay. But I'm telling you, and without intending to offend somebody, out of love, if you can tell that to other person, you should say that in your capacity. In India, we can say, because we have the freedom of speech, we don't no problem in going and standing in front of abortion clinic or even telling the person, come out, don't do it, no, it's no issue here. But I don't think it happens in Canada like that. So yeah, that's one thing. And one more question was, as JYS, what do you recommend your voice opinions in the online government officials and other? Well, this is something you should do, no? Because you raising your voice to the government official is your responsibility as a citizen, or not even a citizen of like a resident or what, but even still somebody living there, you have every right as a citizen of the place to raise your concerns in whichever means. It can be through writing letters or visiting them, or March for Life is a great event, or if you have social media platforms where you can use to put that, you should do that for sure, because there is no legal issue in that, and it's a free capacity of yours, an opportunity, and you should proclaim what you are standing for without fear.
Even when pro-life stand is taken by the government, there people are raising voice. Why can't we raise voice when they take pro-choice stand? So recently, when the Roe versus Wade was lifted in US, some people are saying that that is taking away the woman's freedom to exercise a choice of abortion. Can we agree to that law? Because that is actually taking away a woman's right to the freedom of choice. So actually, we are forcing her not to abort. It is just like they are taking away my when I see the rule of like law of do not kill, do not murder. Is it like that rule is taking away my freedom to do a murder? So we cannot do an illegal. We cannot fight for an do the freedom for an illegal activity. The lanes are given in the road to follow that. So if I say that the lights are obstructing my freedom to ride the vehicle in the way I want, we cannot argue like that. So even when the laws are exercised in a pro-life manner, the people are raising their voice. So we can raise our voice at any cost. Okay. So
one thing which we didn't highlight here is IVF is equally a mortal sin, and anybody working in an IVF clinic should not do that. Okay, IVF has multiple abortions. Okay, so we don't recommend IVF. Okay, this Pascal asked me a question: what is the most difficult case I have handled? Well, there are a mixture of it. I will tell one mixture of it. So I will tell one which is very difficult, one which I felt very sad. There are, when we try to save a baby from abortion, or some babies left out to die, transporting the baby dies on the way, and taking the baby for burial, the complications there. That was something very difficult. There are many cases where we tried to speak, they didn't agree, they went out with abortion. Those are there. But one which is still in my mind, which I still regret, is when I was in office one day, I was in a new team, new managers, and I was in office one day. I got a call from my team telling that there is a hospital nearby where a baby has been born, and the parents want to throw away the baby. They don't want the baby. They may put in some garbage or something. Okay, it happens in India. So they asked me, there was a full timer and one of us. They said they already started on the bike. It'll take an hour for us to reach the place. Since I am nearby, I can reach in maybe 20 minutes or half an hour. Can you first go quickly and see, whether they are there, and hold them there. So I thought of going. Then I'm new in office. What will my manager think? Suddenly going out. No, this in a confusion. Then I decided, okay, work is probably important, and I didn't go because anyway my team is coming. Okay, by the time the team came, they were not there. But I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so. I still regret what happened to that baby. I don't know what happened. And probably they are not thrown anywhere. But I still think, if I could go back to that time, God, I would just, I don't care for the job at that time. Because sometimes we don't know. No, sometimes we regret it later on. That is something which I still feel sad of. This happened some 10, 12 years ago. Still in my mind. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dino and Dr. Mammen, for today, for sharing those stories and for answering those questions in the form. And again, thank you to each and every one of us who joined. As we conclude, let's all maybe say this one verse. It's such a profound verse, a pro-life verse. Psalms 139:13. You formed my inmost being. You knit me in my mother's womb. And let's also remember that tomorrow, actually today, it's already a Saturday evening. In it's Divine Mercy Sunday. It's a day of great mercy, and a day wherein when we go for Sunday Mass here in Canada, when we go for Sunday Mass, let's all remember and pray for all of those. It was 87,000 in 2021. I don't know, but I can only, with much horror, imagine that the numbers are only increasing as the years go by. Let's pray for Canada. Let's pray for that the culture of life will prevail over a culture of death and sin, and also surrendering our two resources and the activities of the Jesus Youth Pro-Life, both in India and in Canada. Let's all surrender it to um, two very special people. One, the patron saint of Canada, Saint Joseph, and to the hands of the Mother of God, our Blessed Mother Mary. And let's all pray together. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Amen. God bless. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Dino, and thank you, Dr. Mammen. Thank you so much. And again, there's a quick link that Mr. Dino has shared in the chat. If anyone would like to maybe save that link, yeah, we can also share that in the WhatsApp group.
It gives a quick view of the impact of gender fluidity. It's a very good short video.
Okay. We will definitely share that, Mr. Dino. And okay, that